Hey, welcome back. As promised, I'm starting to work on the goat enclosure. I removed the wire in this section like we talked about, and I just measured between these two posts, and it's about 17 feet. So the carport's 15 feet long, and it's going to fit perfectly in that spot. I'll have a little bit of room. I got a fence off, but that's okay. I got some stuff over there in the junk pile that I think will work great for closing that gap. Be nice and durable. Took the mower and mowed it down, so I got a place to work. I'm going to start unboxing the carport here and read the instructions and then get to work putting it together. Hopefully we can get this done over the weekend. Turned out it was cold this morning, but it's warmed up. It's supposed to be in the 60s today, so hopefully we get a good weekend's worth of work with the weather cooperating. So I'll check back in just a little bit. Well, I got the 3 boxes open. Looks like all the parts are there. Broke out the instructions. Aside from them being a little damp because they got rained on the other day, everything looks to be in order. Instructions are pretty straightforward. Doesn't look like there's going to be any craziness going on, like say a piece of furniture from IKEA. But I'll go ahead and start putting this together, and I'll give you some updates as I'm going along. All right, so I'm going to try my hand at doing a how-to video. Show you the steps involved in this. You know, I showed you the instructions and said they were pretty straightforward, and they are. They really are easy to follow. The first step you do is you have to build the base. So you've got these sections that go together. And let me see if I can. So they've got these sleeves. So they've got these sleeves here that fit right inside here, and they're not pre-drilled or anything, and they give you a great big bag of metal screws. And I can't find my driver, so I'm just using my drill as a driver. You just stick it in there, and it gets it down. They've got a little rubber washer on it that squashes if they don't get tight enough. Take 8mm ratchet and just ratchet it down a little bit, and it's working like a charm. Well, I said it's working like a charm, and then that happens. There we go. Then once you get the 2 in, just take the next piece and slide it right on. Get it nice and snug. Now, if I have any complaints about this process, it's the fact that these screws, they go in and they hold it nice and secure that way. They're just not very tight, and you can take and some of them wiggle. But I think there's enough in there that it's going to be nice and tight. So all I got to do, I got to flip it over, and I got to do all the ones down that side, and I'll have both sets done. All right, so I'm up on basically the second step of putting this thing together, and that's putting these uprights together. Well, you're not supposed to stand them up. I kind of jumped the gun. I put this one together and the end one that's right above me, and stood them up and got them bolted to the frame. So I've got the 2 middle ones to do, and the process of putting it together is basically the same as the base, except, and I don't understand it. So on the base, it had a sleeve or a tube that fit down over this, and you ended up putting 4 screws in. On these, they took the little tube and they tack welded it on to one of the pieces. So you're only putting 2 screws in instead of 4 on each side. So let me go ahead and finish these other 2 and get them upright, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Alright, we've gone through steps 1 through 6, and we've got all the uprights up. So the next step is step 7, and that entails taking all these anchors. There's 8 of them. There's one that goes around each one of the upright poles. You drive it down into the ground, and then you secure it so that the thing doesn't move. I'm going to hold off on doing that because I think as I'm putting this together, I think I'm going to take and get some wood and put this on a skid and make it so in the future, if I want to move this, I can just drag it wherever I want to go, and I don't want to anchor it down just yet. I'll figure out a way once I'm done to get it that way so that the goats and sheep can't move it around. So we're going to skip that. The next step is to start putting the tin on the roof. So I got to go get a ladder and start doing that, and I'll give you an update as soon as I get some of that done. All right, quick update. Had to go put the hat on because the sun's beating down on me. Gonna burn my head if I'm not careful. Starting to get the tin on the roof. This is the tedious part of these aero buildings. I don't know if I said it before, but this is a aero carport. They're the ones that make the metal sheds and all that stuff, and I really like using them. The duck coop at the old house was one of those buildings, and then I had a fuel shed that I had that was at one of the little metal sheds. You know, and for what they are, they're great. Excuse me. You know, I wanted the fuel building to be metal in case it caught fire. I didn't want any wood building going up. And then the duck shed, we were actually using the shed as or the duck coop was a shed that we were using for storage, and we expanded the duck flock and decided to use it instead of buying a new building. You know, they're great for what they are, like I said, and they're tedious putting together. So I'm gonna go ahead and crawl back up there. I had to go get a new battery. This is the 5th recharge, I think, today. There's so many screws. I'll check back in with you in a little bit. Hey everybody, phase 1 of the build is done. I got the roof on. It's all attached securely. Phase 2 is going to be figuring out how to block this west wall and the north wall off to keep the cold winds this winter out. I think this side I'm only going to partially cover. I'll probably do cattle panel down on this end and do some sort of gate right here so that I can lock animals in here if I need to. I got all the screws in. Speaking of screws, there's like 278 screws in this thing and very few pilot holes. So I spent all day driving that drill with those screws. My hands hurt. I'm telling you right now, they are sore from doing that all day long. If I'm gonna write a complaint to the aero company, it's gonna be the fact that they need to pilot hole those screws. That, and the frame's made in China. You know, it seems like you can't get away from anything that's made in China anymore. And admittedly, we were looking for convenience, and we weren't looking for 100% American made. Now the tin panels and everything, those are manufactured in America from globally sourced materials. I don't have any idea what that means, but at least they've got some manufacturing here in the United States. You know, all in all, it's not a bad building. It cost us a little less than $1,000 with my military discount. It's put together way better than some of them I've seen for a lot less. We were talking. I had an assistant this afternoon, and I want to say thanks to Patty. She saved me going up and down the ladder a lot because she went chasing screws as they flew off into the grass, and she kept me motivated towards the end. But we were talking, and you used to be able to find used carports on Craigslist all the time, and I haven't looked here where we live now, but where we used to live, man, you could not find them for months on end. There wouldn't be any in the advertisements in Craigslist. So I think people are starting to hold on. So if you're looking for something like this, that's where I would suggest starting at Craigslist and then going to estate sales and auctions. You can find them. It's just you got to look a lot harder now than you used to. And towards the end of the day, I was looking for excuses to quit, and Patty kept me going, telling me we need to get it done today, and I appreciate that. But I figured out that I don't have a future as a professional carport assembler. You can see there's places where the panels don't line up quite right. It's not quite straight. Had to drill holes where there shouldn't have been any, but it's all put together. It's all put together, and it's secure, and it's extremely functional. Once we get the sidewalls on it and we get it enclosed and everything, we'll be able to get our goats and stuff down here. I'm trying to shoot for next weekend, so we'll see how that goes. The last thing I want to talk about, and it was something that I heard yesterday, and I really wish I would have thought of this, because it's so timely. It's so timely. So courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being able to move forward in the face of fear. So we live in a culture of excuses, and people make excuses for all kinds of things, but they make excuses for their failings in their daily lives. They make excuses for their businesses. They make excuses to make policy. It's from top to bottom, and don't think that when I'm saying this that I'm not including myself in this, because I am. I up until recently I was all full of all kinds of excuses. We need to have the courage to not make excuses. We need to have the courage to make a decision and live with the consequences, good or bad. Even something negative that happens can be a teachable moment. So we can find something positive in it. But we need to have the courage to stop making excuses. Now, I'm, like I said, up until recently, I made all kinds of excuses about my situation. It wasn't until I faced the tyranny of petty men that I found the courage to stop making excuses and make a change, make a meaningful change. The question we need to ask ourselves, how much do we value freedom? How much do we want to be in control of our lives? Are we going to make excuses, or are we going to find the courage to stand up and whenever we see a problem in our life, in our community, in our country, to stand up and do something to make a change? And it does. It takes a lot of courage, and I'm not sitting here saying, "Ooh, I'm so courageous," because I'm not. I'm extremely fearful of a lot of stuff that's going on right now, but I move forward. I'm moving forward. Part of that courage that allows me to do that is derived from the people I surround myself with. So if you surround yourself with people that are making excuses, you're going to make excuses. And like it said, the excuses sound best to those that are making them, and that's true. And if you're looking for a way to make change and you don't know what to do, I think Jordan Peterson sums it up best. He's got a saying. He says make your damn bed, and the thought behind that is, if you can have the discipline to get up every morning and make your bed, that's a fundamental change in your life. If you never made your bed and you make your bed every day, that's a fundamental change, because there's a little bit of discipline there. And once that discipline takes hold, you expand it, and you make your bed and you get up and go to work every day. and you go to work every day and you do a good job and you don't complain about it, and you try to find what's good about your job, the fact that you are employed, and run with that. And it builds. You know, and it takes courage to do stuff like that. So that's my call to everybody that's watching this video. You know, have the courage to stop making excuses and make a change in your life. Make a change in somebody else's life. Make a change in the country. Till next time, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Go live a life done free. Grumpy G, clear. Thanks, Milo.